Well, the federal government is going to be introducing new laws to crack down on illegal Phoenix activity. Now, that is when a new company is created to continue that business of a company that's been deliberately liquidated to avoid paying out its own debts. Now, this includes taxes, creditors and employee entitlements. Joining me to discuss is the Western Australian Small Business Commissioner David Eaton. David, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ollie.
Well, this is a good start. Explain to us exactly what a director identification number would do.
Right. Well, it's a unique identifier that would permanently track the directorship of individuals, and this would allow the government, and in this case the federal government and the regulators, especially ASIC, to map the relationship between individuals and entities and other companies. This would actually require all directors to confirm who they are using, say, a 100-point proof of identity check, and would also enable regulators to stamp out the prevalence of fictitious identities like Mickey Mouse, who currently holds directorships apparently in the Directors Register.
Sure. So if I all of a sudden have a company that isn't going so well and I want to leave that company, move to another company, and I haven't wound things up properly and people might be chasing me, all of a sudden you'll know that Oliver Peterson has gone from company one to company two. Be aware, be careful.
That's right. I mean, company directors are essential in our community, and most of them, like in most situations, are doing the job the best they can. But unfortunately, those who deliberately shift assets away from one company to another to avoid paying its debts and taxes and creditors and employees, it's been one of the barriers to ASIC doing their job as a regulator and really tracking these people down and making them bear the consequences. I suppose I've got to stress, Ollie, as Small Business Commissioner, I'm West Australian entity, and there's this Commonwealth legislation. But one of my roles is to advocate for all tiers of government to do things for the benefit of small business. And this is one element that we believe for a long time would help improve this situation.
And unfortunately, it's a story that's very familiar to our listeners this afternoon, this illegal Phoenix activity. And when you look here at the Australian economy statistics, it's upwards of $5 billion.
That's right, Ollie. I suppose there are lots of things we're seeing in the community at the moment where I'd sort of categorise it that we need to improve business behaviour. Need to address the imbalance that is always there, the imbalance of power, imbalance of risk between large entities and smaller businesses, and this is just one element going towards that. 97% of businesses in Australia are actually small. Small businesses in Western Australia and throughout Australia actually employ 40% of the population. So there's a lot going on that we're advocating for that says it's time to ensure we address that imbalance of power, and this is one of them, holding the small but important number of directors who are deliberately doing the wrong thing and enable the regulator to track them down and make them bear the consequences of their behaviour.
Yeah, and as I said, this is a good start to have director identification numbers, probably long overdue, but is there more that can be done to hold these company directors to account if they're involved in this, it is illegal Phoenix activity?
Look, there is. Administrators play an important role here. When a company becomes insolvent, they certainly need to report what they find. And also recently, as a result of advocacy, ASIC has set up a Phoenix hotline, and I can give you the number, 1-800-807-875. So those employees or small businesses that think they've got some concerns about possible Phoenix behaviour, they can call that hotline or go onto the website and lodge those concerns. And there's another way for ASIC, hopefully, to act early and minimise the damage that can be caused. I would like to stress that we're not sort of defaming all company directors. There are a lot of people in the company directors community who do a lot of good.
Of course.
But you've always got to, in my view, weed out that handful that aren't and come down as heavy as possible on them.
Yeah, you do indeed. Now, this legislation is out at the moment for consultation, for communication. How quickly are you expecting the federal government to make the move and amend these laws?
Yes, well, we know sometimes these things can take time, so I think there's a heavy focus on small business and protecting them. So I'm hoping the federal government would move quickly on this and enable what ASIC really are recommending is a clean-up of their registration process and being able to identify and track people who are involved in multiple business failures.
Small Business Commissioner David Eaton, appreciate your time on Perth Live. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
David Eaton there. Illegal Phoenix activity is obviously going to be stamped out or attempted to stamp out with the introduction here of the director identification numbers. All of this still needs to go through the Parliament. But as I say, good start, and it is a start, and this will hopefully avoid, these people that you don't want running companies and going from one company to another when they still owe you a whole heap of money.